Welcome to the Gist for tonight. Today we are talking about exactly what you see us doing. Intimacy. I think intimacy
This is intimate?
is enough.
Okay. Just making sure. Everybody has different views, so
So what's your inputs? I mean,
my opinion.
know your definition of intimacy.
Okay.
What's your take?
My
That's what I
take.
was trying to say.
Okay. For me, per se, obviously, aside from sexual intercourse, for me it's definitely spending time with me, watching my favorite shows.
What do you mean spending time with you?
Yeah, like spending time together, like me and you.
Yeah, now you're
That's
using
what intimacy, right?
Yeah, but when you say that's like spending time with me, it's like you want to spend time with yourself.
No. Like you spending time with me.
Okay.
Obviously watching, my shows, sports. Obviously, you'll be sitting down, doing things that I like, eating together. All those things are considered intimate. I think anything that you do close with your spouse, anything that you do together with your spouse is considered intimacy. But obviously, sex obviously is the thing that everybody recognizes as being intimate, but it goes beyond that. There's so many things. Praying with your wife is intimacy. Sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, sharing your dreams with your wife is intimate. Even raising your children together, that is also considered intimate. As he is voicing his own, voice over there, and we are both, admiring him from afar, that is intimate.
From afar.
Yeah.
You mean
Micah is okay?
Okay, well, I think intimacy definitely, like you said, has different meanings, like everywhere to different people. So I think you've talked about like the definition of intimacy for you as a man. But for me as a lady, you talked about doing the things that you like. For me, I believe that when we talk about intimacy, it's about coming together in an enclosed way or like just the two of us
Okay.
doing things that both of us enjoy, not just one party. So when you talk about sports, what kind of sports are you talking about? And that was rhetorical. I don't mean like answer it. I mean like if your spouse or your partner likes sports, then you guys watch that type of sports together. But not like when it comes to like maybe your spouse like basketball and you like soccer and you guys are watching basketball or you guys are watching soccer, one party is not enjoying it. So for me that is not intimacy. And then you talked about prayer, which I really agree. I believe that that is very intimate because you are at your most vulnerable stage when you're praying. So when you do that with your spouse, you're definitely being intimate. And then we have that sexual aspect of it, which, like you said, most people run to that when we talk about intimacy. Everybody think about the physical connection or the physical touch of both parties as intimacy. But I think that when both minds are on the same level, and then the emotions that follows that is also matching each other, that's intimacy. So we can literally be sitting here, just sitting here like this, and feel intimate because I'm comfortable, you're comfortable, and we are both enjoying the moment and the space that we're in. But I think we put too much on it though. But then again, too, for us women, I believe that that is what leads us to like being able to be submissive to our spouses. Because when you're intimate, you feel like the person that you are with kind of connects with you and understands you, and they get you. So you are open to almost anything that they're going to give you or they're going to say to you. Versus, when we talk about like intercourse, when people are just somebody is aroused, somebody is not, or both are, and we're just trying to get it out of our system and go.
What do you mean out of our system?
Like you
We're just anxious to get it over with.
no, not get it over with, but like you are at a high, like your hormones.
Sexual peak or
Yeah, you are at a peak of it all.
yes.
So you want to get into it and like
And
kind of,
satisfy your hormones or your,
and in a friend's word, consummate.
okay.
And then yeah, once that dies down, then
On that note, do you think that if one spouse is, feeling that way, very aroused, but the other spouse is not feeling so well, do you think that it's fair for the spouse that is not feeling in that much, not to, open up to the spouse that is feeling aroused? Do you feel like it's okay to sometimes reject or sometimes deny your spouse, even though like the Bible says that it's not good? Do you feel like it's okay sometime or most time to deny your spouse?
I think this is a very serious topic, but I guess it will take on to part 2. But anyways, I believe that, like Bible says and like everybody says, too much of everything is bad, right? So there are certain times that both of you might not all be in the same mood, or might not all want to do that, and sometimes it's okay to just give in to your spouse's like needs, right? But when it becomes all the time, like you always have to do it even when you don't feel like it, then it becomes something else. Like I said, intimacy
It can become abuse too, right?
I mean, I think it can become like it might feel like it's an obligation versus like it being a pleasurable thing or like an enjoyable thing. Again, like I was saying, intimacy is when both of us connect on the same level at the same time, right? So for me, I believe for a couple to like truly and honestly enjoy each other in terms of like sexually, they must both be in that mood. I mean, it's not all the time that both parties are going to be in that mood, but when we want it to be the best, like when we want to have the best experience, we want to make sure that we're both in the same
I think
mood.
that us men, 95% of the time, we are always in that mood. But it's just that the woman, sometimes it's hard for you guys to catch up to us, in that regard.
And maybe that's how God made it. But let me ask you this: how do you feel when? How do you think that men feel when they are trying to, like, have like get into bed or sleep with their spouses, for the lack of better words, and or they're in the act and you see your spouse just laying there
Like a
and
dead
not,
fish.
I guess,
Yeah. Sometimes that can also be very well, what's the word? That could be very, sad, or it could be very,
it's not enjoyable, right?
it's not a very good sight to see if you're, in the act and your spouse is not,
actively involved.
Yeah. She's not, the body language is not matching up to yours. There are no, like, emotions, no expressions. Yeah, it can be very, very sad, to experience. And most time you can just, right there, you can find yourself wanting to stop, and just try it again at a later time.
Yeah.
So I think, but that's why they say that foreplay is also very, very important, because I think in our African community, especially the elder, people that lack that, aspect, they lack that insight that you have to foreplay in order, to start, the romance, or like for better words. So
I think.
but that's a whole different topic.
It sure is.
We should talk about that for days, weeks.
I know. But I believe that when you really want to enjoy your spouse in that aspect, you have to also be mindful and know that your spouse is also enjoying it. That it doesn't become an obligation or a duty. I mean, in terms of marriage, it is a duty to one another, but I think it should be something that is enjoyed. And because of that, it should be for both parties to be in the mood to do it. I mean, sometimes, given that sometimes you just have to do it just to please your spouse, but it shouldn't be like
all the time.
Yes, all the time is just to please your spouse, because at that point it's just a chore, which is burdening, and nobody wants that.
Nobody wants to feel
So
that way.
and I think if like the question you asked earlier, if your spouse doesn't feel like in the mood most of the time, that means that there is some disconnect between the couple and they need to work on it, because they cannot be that every time you want to get close to your spouse they're running away or they don't want to do it. So
something has to be off.
And you have to fix that. So that's the gist for tonight. See you tomorrow for the gist for tonight. We are the Stray Boys. Bye.